It is. It's like if you're gonna throw it out there, be prepared that sometimes it's gonna be ghastly, but what you try to do is you try to limit those ghastly moments to being once in every maybe 50 performances.
Has that happened before? Has it been like?
Oh yeah, I just did it the other night. I tried to do Josie by Steely Dan, and I normally pull it off without a hitch. And
what do you do?
Thought about something else. I think a bug was going by, and I went, "Look at that bug! Oh no!"
Yeah.
And it's looping.
Now, how do you? What do you do when that happens? Do you address the crowd?
You
like, yeah,
figure out how to
or?
go back through it and play and shut the loop off as you're playing, and try to make it as seamless as if you didn't make a mistake. You got to figure that half the people in the room are probably drinking, talking to their friends, and didn't even pick up on it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Worst thing you can ever do in a live performance is stop the tune and say, "Oh, I screwed up." Half the times, if you don't tell people you screwed up, they're not going to know anyways.
And you beat yourself up after. It's like,
right.
You were playing tonight?
Yeah. It's a fun thing. It really is, and I think taking it to a different level is kind of cool.
So let's talk about your CD. Chris Reddy, a
New
zoom
CD,
in shot on this. This is the new CD.
New CD.
How many CDs you got?
I've got 5 CDs out there.
Wow.
This has a bunch of stuff that's remastered by Roger LaValle off of the Drinking Songs for the Working Stiff CD, and also a couple tunes from Sonification and Info Junkie, and there's a lot of instrumental mixed with a lot of pop stuff. So it's kind of like a blend of, it's kind of like what Eric Johnson did when he kind of did his Bloom album, where he threw a bunch of tunes on that he likes to sing on, and then threw a bunch of tunes that he likes to play instrumentals on. I've always been a firm believer, and there's nothing wrong with instrumental music. More people should get into it. I don't see it happening in the music industry, which is a shame, but I think if you throw that out there for people still get into instrumental music. So it's about a 50-50 split on the album.
Kids, write more instrumentals. Chris says it's okay. All right?
It's not a bad thing.
You got a lot of pissed off singers at you right now, man.
Well, but you know what? I mean, I've always thought of myself as a guitar player first, a vocalist second. Although, the new band I've just joined, I was asked to fill in for Jim Perry and Dr. Robert. And if anybody knows the cover band Dr. Robert in the area, Dr. Robert is a very classy cover band that does classic rock and prides itself on vocals. And the guys are great guys. We're gonna be doing our first gig the following weekend after this at Chopsticks in Leominster, and it's really steeped in vocals. So I don't want to take anything away from vocals. Vocals are seriously important to me, and it's a pleasure singing with these guys. I mean, it's awesome. 3-part harmonies, without even thinking about it. So
Chopsticks is an Ethiopian restaurant?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Ethiopian food with chopsticks.
Nice. Very good. So I'm noticing House of 1,000 Nips on this CD.
Yes.
One of my favorite tracks of yours. You can hear it on NEGB1 radio, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, nothing but local music. Check your local stations. So why don't we demonstrate some of your stuff, talk about Loops from Hell, and we'll get to go what Chris Reddy does.
And I got to say, I'm a proud sponsor of Celestial Effects. Joe and Dominic and Scarlett were nice enough to ask me to be a sponsor for them, and I've been using them in my home studio. They're phenomenal, and I've integrated some, and actually the Virgo pedal is used on a couple cuts on this CD. And what we're going to try to do in the second tune is we'll have Dominic come up and do a little tweaking. I'll actually lay down some loops on the acoustic, and then pick up Dom's electric, and we'll do some lead work over it. It's kind of cool.
We're bringing Dom back. Yes!
We are.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's get it going. Hey, no problem. Chris Reddy, ladies and gentlemen. What that smell was, Chris.
Can't play loops in shoes, man.
So you have like pointy toe shoes or anything? So talk to me about like what does each, like I know you got a delay, you got a mod, it looks like a DD/DS.
Well, the basic principle is laying down a loop and then knowing when to shut it off for arrangements. There are new loops out that can do different phrases. I'm not a big believer in that. I believe in keeping it simple because if you're going to really make the loop shine, you got to use different effects. So basically I'm using the ME50 just as a quick and dirty to give it all the effects I need in one pedal, because I have all this at my feet when I'm playing out live.
Name me a musician that doesn't like a quick and dirty.
Right, exactly. So it lends itself to, being able to have things at the fly without, for an electric setup, this is the Celestial Effects setup here is primo for playing lead, which I would do with a cover band. For this, for acoustic with the loop and an exciter, this is pretty much what I've used for the last 6 years, and it works. A lot of people have said they've gone up to the ME70, they don't like it. The Boss stuff that originally came out with the ME50 is a lot tighter. I've honed in the tones I need for this. I have used the Virgo Celestial with this to give it more bite for the lead work, and it has worked, and I'm probably going to start integrating the Scorpio into the ME50 because it gives more bite without putting distortion tone on the acoustic, which is cool. So I'm always, working with effects and trying to make it, shine. And this works right now, and I'm integrating things into it. I may integrate a vocalist as well, just to do harmonies with myself, but we'll see what happens.
Could we integrate the acoustic loops with the electric loops?
Yeah, what we're going to do right now is I'm just going to do a quick jam, and I'm going to set down a bed, and then I'm going to pick up Dom's guitar, and we'll show how, if you wanted to use both, you could really, utilize doing loops and still have an electric rig set up depending on what you wanted to do live. So I'm going to do a little take on an instrumental tune, and then we'll have Dom come over and we'll do a little lead work, and we'll